Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It was 70 degrees in November, so we have to go out riding. I'm glad to have you with us. This is actually my first time after being off bikes for a long time that I'm riding with someone else. So I'm not sure your experience, but it definitely takes some different senses.
Gotta watch our speed through here. They'll get you.
But lovely day out. I'm gonna ride out to see Sean with his other bikes. But trip today is with Mike. If you remember, I did a review on his 2015 BMW G650GS, I believe. And I know you haven't seen the footage of me riding it because I can't find it. I'm sure it'll show up sometime and I'll post it, but for now, go back and watch the video after this one, of course, of the review on his bike. But yeah, this is a good good head-to-head. The 650GS is 50 horsepower single single cylinder, and it's obviously refined and tuned way beyond my 84 carbureted Shadow. Whoop. Turn my turn signal off there. It's another thing you need to make sure if you're going to do vlogging on a motorcycle, pay attention to what you're actually doing. So back to riding with someone else. He has the directions on his phone, so I'm gonna let him lead, but it's different because you need to watch his stopping and his turning versus just kind of taking the scenery and looking ahead to what you're gonna do. But I haven't ridden in a group in a long time, so this is pretty great. And I'll try not to talk through the whole video. I'm not sure if you want that or not. But yeah, basically I had to get out and ride. I don't know how many days we're gonna have left in the season. I'll probably ride, just bundle up, but take the opportunities on a day like today. You gotta get out. We are riding everyone's favorite beginner starter bike, the 1984 Honda Shadow VT700C. I feel like I've been saying that a lot lately, but when it's the only bike you got running, it's the only bike you're going to take out. Do some quick specs on it, see if I remember. These are the things I remember from changing the oil yesterday. We're going to take 3.2 quarts or 3 liters of engine oil. That's with a filter change. And 4.4 ounces of rear differential fluid. Calls for Hypoid SAE 80. And if you watch that video of getting prepped for this ride, you'll see that we had 80 weight -90 because that's what I found at the auto parts store. This bike is pushing out 64-ish horsepower. At least that was claimed in 84. And 45-ish foot-pounds of torque. And compared to the BMW, which has 50 horsepower, I don't know what these two would do on the line. We're out for a casual ride, not trying to get in trouble. Gotta enjoy the ride. It's not about the destination. It's about how you're getting there and enjoying the ride. But we are riding a trip from Lebanon to Halifax. Filled up with non-ethanol gas down in Lebanon before we left. And I set the trip meter. Right now we're at 16 miles. And I've been getting about 125 before the low fuel light comes on. So unless we have other problems, we should be good to go for a while. We have put on 21,000 miles, going to 21,100 very soon. But I'll do a rundown here of basically what we've done to this motorcycle so far. If you haven't seen my other videos, of course you want to go back and watch them. But right now we're in 6th gear, overdrive. Get some decent gas mileage out of it. I still don't know if I looked that up. Can't remember if I verified it. I'm gonna say 50. How about 52 maybe? Let's try for that mileage. I haven't actually checked it on my own. But yeah, so we got the bike. Kept the battery charged up. Rode it around town a few times. Then one day, didn't charge the battery for a while. Took it out. Made it to Walmart. There's a video on that also. Got stranded, wouldn't start. Took it back home. Took the battery home. Charged it up, threw it on the bike. Rode it home, no problem. So either we had a dead battery or we had a bad charging system. Or both. Easily could be both. The battery has been doing good for me lately, so we're gonna hope that it is a good battery. If not, I'm gonna have an issue and have to put a battery in it, which isn't a big deal. But I don't want to get stranded. So anyway, ripped into the stator, found a giant burn hole through the stator. So that was definitely the issue. Replaced the stator. Put everything back together. And by that time, we didn't have a clutch. So the clutch lever would not actuate the clutch. So we had to take apart, drained all the fluid out, checked the slave cylinder. It was nasty. I'm sure I have footage of that, and I don't know that I posted that yet. So I'll get that up for you at another time. I am going through all my old videos. It just takes a lot of time. And cleaned out the slave cylinder, put in new seals, rebuilt it, put it all back together, cleaned up the master cylinder, and put in new fluid, bled the system, and it's been working great ever since. And let's see, after that, of course, we charged up the battery. Replaced a light bulb in the rear left turn signal. Currently, oh, that's another thing I need to do. I ordered parts for it. The rear brake does work, but it does not work great, nor does it light the rear brake pedal, or light the rear brake light. So you got to make sure you're using the front brake also, which you should. The front brake works fine. So I have parts to fix that. It's with the cable. The cable's not setting correctly on the cable perch down there, and that's the problem. I basically ordered a whole new setup. Oh, then I came to find that the tank was pretty rusty. So if you know anything about old Shadows, old Hondas, the Magnas, a lot of them ran 2 tanks. So we cleaned out rust from the main tank, but then the main tank runs directly into a second tank, so I had to take that off. Of course, go back and watch that video, because that's a whole rigmarole to take off the rear wheel. So you're taking off the rear wheel to get the main tank off, and you got to take off the inner fender. It's not a big deal. It just is more fun than it's than it should be. So yeah, cleaned out the tanks. Oh, I think we had issues with the fuel pump. Yep, that was on this bike too. So we had to... the fuel pump wasn't functioning correctly. So I took it off, ended up cleaning it out, putting it all back together. Then it was leaking. Then I ended up just putting a completely new fuel pump on. Tried messing with fuel pump relays. Found out that was working, and it was just the fuel pump. And yeah, I threw a completely different one on, and it seems to be working fine. Again, all these things that I've fixed, you just have to... That looks like a Shadow. I wish I had Mike here. We could talk back and forth. Cool thing about riding with buddies and friends, you're riding together, so it's a blast, but you're still on your own, so you can spend your time in your helmet. But yeah, it'll be fun to talk back and forth. Can always turn them off, right? We'll have to work out Bluetooth. That'd be fun, especially if we ride more. But yeah, so we dealt with fuel, dealt with clutch, dealt with oil, dealt with rear final drive, dealt with a little bit of electronics, but basically everything's working there. Really just maintenance things that you never know when you get a new bike. You should start with changing the oils, changing the fluids. And really, I should have done the brakes by now, but it was time to ride. Just you get it running, you want to jump and go. And that's what I did. I had to adjust this mirror on the left. But we'll do brakes when they need done. As I said in a previous video, I did see some seepage around the master cylinder on the brakes, so it may not be sealing correctly. We'll have to get in there and clean it out. Yeah, that's pretty much all I think we did on this. Let me know if I'm missing anything, because you've probably watched the videos. Oh, there was a light bulb burnout under the oil light, I believe. It was burned out under there, so we had to replace that. Just minor stuff. But actually, I got this bike from Sean. We're going to see Sean, so that's kind of wild. And at the time, I traded him my '84 V65 Magna. And since then, he's actually traded that back to me. I haven't touched it since, but I have that project to work on. So basically, He traded that back to me to do some paint work on his Super Magna. So we'll see if whenever he's ready to do that, we'll do that. But if he lets me, I can do some video on his bikes. If not, currently I got the rundown. He has Super Magna. He has V65. I'll be riding that today most likely, because I have two of them and I haven't ridden them. So I think he wants me to ride that just to see what I'm missing, and then we'll probably dig into those. It might be some encouragement that I need. He has a 700 Magna. I believe that's an 85. And two 700, 750-ish Shadows. So that would be his collection at the moment. But I'm not gonna do the YouTube thing and just steal his stuff. He does want me to do some videos going head to head on some of our bikes, but we'll do that when the time comes, probably in the spring. Probably every time I get a bike going, just want to take this trip and work out all the bugs. Just can't beat this weather. It's fall-ish, but a nice little bit of warmth. I'm sure we'll start collecting other riders. If you're in the area, give us a shout out. Maybe we can all hook up, go riding. Yeah, I talked about Lebanon. Ugh. If you come from the Harrisburg area, Lancaster area, you guys might know better rides. Yeah, we'll hook up, man. Man and woman, sorry. Weehaw! I do have on my... I started out this morning with my sweatshirt from SRK Cycles underneath my tactile jacket, with my inner layer and my outer layer, and when we filled up at the gas station I took off my sweatshirt, hoodie, and my inner layer because it was just too hot. I was already starting to sweat. Gotta relax a little bit. Not sure if getting sore riding bikes is because I'm tense or if I'm just not used to riding. Alright, I'm gonna stop talking for now. Bring it back in maybe later. If we make it down and back, at least I know I'm doing a good job rebuilding this Shadow. We basically have all the same things to do on every single bike that I have, except a lot of those haven't been run in 15-20 years, and this one was actually running and riding when I got it. So I have exciting times ahead of me, and if you guys want to come along for each one, I'll do the footage. If you want to see them, let me know in the comments. We're still working on the SV6. Sorry. Still working on the VX800. Still working on the Magnas. All of them. Still working on the CBR 600RR. Haven't even started working on the CB900. Haven't even started working on, I don't even remember what's parked behind that. Oh, parts bike for the CBR. Still working on the the XJ750. Remember, she's riding. I'm sure you watched that video. Gotta pull the carbs off and clean them up. Then she's probably good to go. Haven't even started working on the XJ650. There's a few more surprises on the way. So go ahead and subscribe. See what else we find. And then tell me what to start working on. Maybe you guys can vote on which ones you want me to see. Which ones do you want to see on the road? Oh, I didn't even mention the 1100 Sabre. We've got a 750 Sabre and an 1100 Sabre. So, throw some votes out there. Let me know what you want.